We are family versus the Big Red Machine. 4 times in the 70s, the Reds and the Pirates faced each other in the playoffs. 3 times, the Reds came out a winner. In 1990, they faced each other again in the second season. Another Reds win. This weekend, the Reds will need a little bit more of that magic. It's for the right to host the wild card game, and the Reds need to win this series for that to happen. It's the Pirates and the Reds, the final 3 games of the regular season. Next on Fox Sports Ohio. It's a beautiful fall Friday night here in Cincinnati as the Reds and the Pirates get together for the final games of this 2013 season, the final weekend of the 2013 regular year, and it means something. It's the Pirates and the Reds, brought to you by Kia. And hi and a pleasant good evening, everyone, and welcome to Reds Baseball. Jim Kelch along with Chris Welsh here at Great American Ballpark. Well, the final 3 games of this regular season are big time for both these teams. One of these teams, it looks like, will be hosting the wild card game on Tuesday. And Chris, it comes down to who can win this series as to who will be the home team Tuesday.
Well, you're right about that, Jim. All it takes is 2 wins by either ball club, and you can eliminate the other guy, and that means you will host the wild card game on Tuesday. So the Reds hope that they win the first 2. They can take it easy on Sunday and then know that on Tuesday they'll be teeing it up right here at Great American Ballpark. But I'll tell you what, there's no way to handicap this series because these 2 teams are very, very close to each other. Each have won 8 games against each other all year long. Even if you break down the numbers even more closely than that, you see that they're very tight in the way that they play. So you can almost throw out the numbers, throw out the stats of this particular series and see which team has the best heart and which team gets the most breaks.
Well, the Reds know that this is a big series. In fact, some of the players talked about it before the game, about having this series, winning it, and controlling their own destiny.
It's almost like the playoffs start today. You know, we're playing for home field advantage, and we just played 159 games to get to this point. So anytime you're on a team where you play 162 and you have a chance to play at the end of the year, I'm going to revert back to my kid days as a kid. That's when you're playing Little League or you're watching big leaguers, that's what you play for.
It comes down to that 1-game playoff. We would definitely rather have it here at home. So we hopefully can go out there and take care of business this series, and then we'll have it at home, where it's just where I think as a team we're a whole lot more comfortable.
Destiny's in your own hands, in our own hands, and it's going to be a big weekend, so I'm excited about it.
Well, twice this year, the Reds have played a series here against Pittsburgh. They won them both. They lead 4-3 here. 16 times these 2 have met this year, 8-8. Game 1 of this series, the pitching matchup, A.J. Burnett of the Pittsburgh Pirates. He will go against the big right-hander, Homer Bailey of the Cincinnati Reds. on this Friday night. It is a beautiful weather night. For a more extensive look at the weather, brought to you by your Tri-State Orthopedics, here's Tim Hedrick from WKRC.
The signs are clear. Beautiful weather for the ball game tonight, and you got to win 2 out of 3. Enjoy the game on Fox Sports Ohio, and have a great weekend, everybody.
Classic indeed, Tim. Rematch of last Saturday here tonight, Chris. A.J. Burnett for the Bucks.
Not only that, but it's a matchup of a couple of pitchers that have thrown no-hitters in the major leagues. A.J. Burnett threw one against the San Diego Padres, and of course one of the victims of the 2 no-hitters that Homer Bailey has been against the Pittsburgh Pirates. But you're going to see a lot of curveballs. That pitch right there is his go-to pitch just about all the time. If it's on, it is one of the best in the entire league. Homer Bailey, meanwhile, 11-11 on the year, good earned run average, lots of strikeouts just like A.J. Burnett. He does it more or less with the hard stuff. By the time the 6th or 7th inning rolls around, Homer Bailey, if he's still in the ball game, will be throwing 97 miles an hour. He's got to be big-time pumped for this game, and he's a young man that has learned how to pitch very well under the bright lights.
Well, it's all on the line here tonight. The winner of this game, the winner of the Saturday and/or Sunday game, they will host on Tuesday night for the National League Wild Card Contest. Brought to you by the Ford F-Series trucks, the best-selling truck in America, 36 straight years. By Cincinnati USA Regional Tourism Network. Book your stay at CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good. It's Skyline time. Reds have taken the field here on this Friday night. Great American Ballpark, hosting the final 3 games of the regular season. Coming in with 90 wins against 69 losses. Clint Hurdle's team one better at 91 and 68. Clint, in his 3rd year as a manager of the Pirates, will put this lineup out there tonight. Marte, Walker, and McCutchen. Morneau, Bird, and Alvarez. Martin, Barmes, and Burnett. No surprises at all there. Against the right-hander, Homer Bailey.
Homer Bailey this year is an even 11 up and 11 down, a very good earned run average. He really ought to be able to have about 15 wins by this point in the year had it not been for a few blown saves. A lot of games in which the Reds did not score many runs in his behalf. But I can tell you one thing. This Texan from LaGrange Texas is a guy that just relishes the fact that he is on the mound right now in a game that really means something for his ball club. And we've seen him mature right before our eyes. And I think that Homer Bailey is about as ready as anybody in his ball club to take the bull by the horn, like most Texans who live on a ranch will do, and see what he can do.
Well, you see those numbers very good in the second half of the season. You also see the Reds wearing the Los Rojos jerseys tonight, all part of Hispanic Heritage Night on this Friday night here at GABP. Starling Marte steps in to lead it off. Left fielder of the Pirates. Both teams wearing the colored tops tonight. Reds usually save it for day games. They're wearing them tonight here on this Friday night. The Pirates wearing the black jerseys here on this Friday evening as well. Last weekend, the Reds took 2 out of 3 in Pittsburgh. Who will win this weekend series? Ball and a strike to Marte, who checks in at 283 with a dozen home runs. 35 runs batted in. Rolls this one to the shortstop. Cozart will make the play, and a good start to this one on Friday night, September the 27th. A 6-3 ground out. Take a look at the Reds defensively, brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Ludwig, who's batting second, we'll talk more about that later, is in left. Chu and Bruce across the outfield. Frazier, Cozart, Phillips, and Votto, with Bailey caught, as always, by Ryan Hannigan. Bailey 11-11, as Chris mentioned. 32nd start of the year. It's the second straight year he's had 30 or more starts in a year, and he should surpass his innings pitched high in his career here tonight. He comes in with 204, his career high last year at 208. He gets the switch hitting Neil Walker. Walker at 252 with 14 long ones, all batting from the left side. Driven in 51. Pirates come into this 3-game get-together having taken 2 out of 3 from the Chicago Cubs, but it was a big help for the Reds on Wednesday afternoon when the Cubs came up with a 3-run homer off the bat of the former Red Darnell McDonald to hang a 4-2 loss on Pittsburgh, meaning that the Reds did not have to sweep this weekend to host the National League wild card game on Tuesday. And then keep in mind that Pittsburgh is not yet mathematically eliminated from the National League Central Division race. If they sweep this weekend and the Cardinals are swept by the Cubs, the two teams would end up tied, and they would play a tiebreaker on Monday. How about this? A hit by pitch.
Right there.
Sure is.
If you add up all the hit by pitches between these two teams, now that's not the most in the league in Major League Baseball between two teams. It's third overall, but it's just an indication that they're not afraid to pitch inside. Let's put it that way. And Homer Bailey, I don't think that he wanted to create a problem for himself, not with a potential MVP coming up into the batter's box early in the ball game. So certainly not intentional at all. But I got to say that both of these managers know that the umpires have been briefed about the history of these two teams, and they're probably not going to let this go very long.
So Walker's on. He's hit by a pitch. The 9th batter hit by a pitch by Bailey this year. Now a breaking ball bounces away from Hannigan, and down to second base goes Neil Walker.
Actually, I really think that was a fastball that Homer Bailey simply just tried to overthrow a little bit. It came in at 92 miles an hour, and maybe it was a slider. I mean, not too many guys can throw a slider over 90 miles per hour. Homer might be one of them, but that one got away from him.
So an early opportunity for the Pirates with Andrew McCutchen at the plate. To the left side, Frazier cuts in front of Cozart and makes the play, and McCutchen is retired. 2 ground balls, 2 out here in the first. Now an opportunity for the newcomer of the Pirates, Justin Morneau. Morneau acquired in August from the Minnesota Twins, and since he's been with this club 23 games, has not produced probably as they hoped he would. No home runs, 3 runs batted in, although he's had a solid year overall at 17 homers and 77 RBIs. He basically took the place of Garrett Jones at first base.
Well, Homer's using a lot of those split finger fastballs early. Now what he normally does is establishes the fastball and then goes to the splitter. But he's gotten out so far from Marte. He's got an out also from Andrew McCutchen, both ground balls on that splitter. That comes in about 86, 87 miles an hour.
Walker out at second with 2 men out. Morneau 1 for 12 as a member of the Pirates with runners in scoring position. Bailey trying to work through first inning trouble here with a runner at second base and 2 men out. Into right, Bruce closing quickly, and Jay will get there to make the catch. Morneau retired, and the threat by the Pirates goes by the wayside thanks to Homer Bailey. Here's what Dusty puts out there on this Friday evening. Chu back in the 1 spot. Ryan Ludwig for the first time as a Red in the 2-hole. Then Votto, Phillips, Bruce, and Frazier, Cozart, Hannigan, and Bailey against the 36-year-old A.J. Burnett.
Yeah, the former number 8 draft pick of the New York Mets back in 1995. Takes the mound, and A.J. Burnett is a seasoned veteran that has been around a few times. At 36, you have to figure that. He was a guy that signed a big-time contract with the New York Yankees, and the Yankees got so disgruntled with it that they paid the Pittsburgh Pirates approximately $20 million to take Burnett off their hands. That was last February 2012. Since that time, he has been money in the bank for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Lots of curveballs. He'll challenge you with a fastball, but most likely tease you with the fastball and try to get you to chase the breaking pitch.
Yeah, the big contract Chris is talking about, a 5-year, $82 million deal back in 2008 that expires the end of this 2013 season. So it's A.J. Burnett against Shin-Soo Choo to lead things off for the Reds here in the bottom of the first. Choo at .286 with 21 homers. 54 runs batted in. Choo against Burnett over in that game Saturday. Remember, he didn't play. Robinson started in center field. Choo is in there tonight. Career-wise, 5 for 25 against A.J. Ludwig to follow, then Votto. Choo had a very nice Mets series, 5 hits and 12 at bats with a couple of runs batted in. And he's had a very nice final full month. He's over 300 here in September. They play him straight away. takes strike two.
When you face a pitcher like A.J. Burnett, whose #1 pitch is that curveball, the easy strategy is, at least to tell yourself, to make him get the ball up. Because anything at the knees has a chance of bouncing at the plate by the time your swing is complete.
Burnett making this year his 4th start against the Reds, a record of 1-1. Career-wise, start number 16 against Cincinnati. 6 up, 6 down. That includes his days, of course, with the Florida Marlins. He spent his first 7 years in the big leagues in the National League with the then Florida, now Miami Marlins. Second year here as a Pirate. A.J. Burnett spent some time, over almost a month, on the disabled list earlier this year with a strained right calf, still making his 30th start. This is the 6th straight year he's had 30 or more starts in the big leagues. Down to a knee is Neil Walker to make the play, and that is out number 1. Pirates defensively, they'll line up like this, courtesy of your local Ford dealers. Marte, McCutchen, and Bird. Alvarez, Farmas, Walker, and Morneau third to first. A.J. Burnett and Russell Martin make up the Pirates battery tonight. Here's Ryan Ludwig. First time as a Red, but the 89th time in his career batting out of the number 2 spot. Wonder how many people saw this tonight and thought, is that right? Is he really in the number 2 spot? That's where Dusty has put him this evening. Way up there in a foul ball. Martin will chase, but run out of room. Ludwig talked about it before the game about batting out of the 2 spot. He said the Cardinals put him there. In all 88 games that he has hit in the 2-hole in his career prior to tonight has been as a member of the St. Louis Cardinals. He said Tony La Russa moved him to the 2 spot with St. Louis when Matt Holliday was signed by the Cardinals.
I would think that there would be a fight at the bat rack to be a number 2 hitter either in St. Louis or Cincinnati, because you're batting either back in those days ahead of Albert Pujols or now Joey Votto. That means you get your fair share of fastballs.
In and out of the glove of Morneau, but he recovers in time, and Ludwig is retired 3 unassisted. Well, that's what he said too. He got much better pitches to hit, hitting in front of Albert Pujols, batting out of that 2 spot. He said the approach to him really is about the same, but better pitches to look at. 2 out now for the aforementioned Joey Votto. Votto hitless in the Mets series, 0 for 8. He still comes in the top 10 in the league in hitting at .304, checking in at number 10. 24 home runs, 73 runs batted in. In lifetime, he's done a very good job. .353 average against A.J. Burnett. It was Votto's error in that game Saturday with Burnett on the mound, and the ball hit by Pedro Alvarez, slow roller to first, that allowed that second inning, you recall, to continue. And on the first pitch after the error with Martin at the plate, he hit the 2-run homer to tie things. Votto this year almost a .500 on base percentage against Pittsburgh. Why? 19 times they have walked him. He's ahead here 2-1 with Phillips next. Now it's 3-1. Votto trying to get on base for the 311th time this year, and if he does so, he will tie the Reds' all-time franchise record of 311 times reached base, either a hit, a walk, or hit by pitch, held currently by Pete Rose. In fact, Rose is the only other player to ever reach base 300 or more times as a Red. He's done it any number of times. Joey trying to tie him here tonight. Rose did it 4 times. Votto just missed it 2 years ago at 299, and he sits right now at 310 times on base.
Whenever you approach or tie or go right past a record held by Pete Rose in his best year or one of his best years, you're doing something.
And there it is, an opposite field single that gets Votto aboard with 2 out, and he reaches base for the 311th time this year, tying him with Pete Rose back in 1969. What an accomplishment.
This isn't a bat right here where Joey Votto knows that A.J. Burnett is not going to elevate a pitch, not going to allow him to hit a ball out of the ballpark. He's taking what Burnett will give him, which is a low outside fastball. If you're going to take it the other way and put the good wood on it, you're going to get a base hit. If you try to pull it and maybe try to hit it out of the ballpark by pulling it, you're not going to be successful. Hit a ground ball to second baseman. So a 2-out single is the Reds base runner.
Now it's Brandon Phillips back in the 4 spot where he has been most successful this year. Batting with a runner aboard. He'll hit the first pitch in the air to shallow center. Walker goes a long way out. Second baseman handles it. Phillips gone, and the Reds, like the Pirates, leave a runner in the first. In terms of the games that they have won each, but boy, they have been tight games themselves.
Well, 3 runs or less, 13 of the 16. So both of these managers have had to manage essentially right to the very last out of the ball game to put a W on the board.
Each pitcher hangs a 0 in the first, and now Marlon Byrd leads things off here in the second for Pittsburgh. Byrd and Morneau basically have been here for a month with this club. Byrd has had a little bit more success with the Pirates than Morneau has. He's at 283 in 28 games with 2 home runs. He's driven in 13 overall this year. He's having really a very nice year with the New York Mets. 23 home runs and 84 runs batted in. He'll be followed by Pedro Alvarez and Russell Martin. He gets it in the air. A little tardy on that swing, and here goes Phillips giving way to Bruce, and Jay has it, and Byrd is gone. Another batter will be Pedro Alvarez. Homer Bailey does not have a strikeout as of yet tonight. He is 4 strikeouts away from his first 200 career strikeout season. More important to him, his walks have been down this year. His walks per 9, lowest they've been in his 7-year career. First pitch swinging, and Alvarez is out at first. Here's tonight's IGS Bringing the Energy feature. More on Homer Bailey about his career here at home and his numbers at home this year. Big difference there. There's that K to walk ratio we're talking about. 2.2 earlier, 5 this year. And the batter will be the catcher, Russell Martin. Martin hitting .227 with 15 home runs. Really, the last 6 weeks or so, his numbers at the plate have gone slowly south. He's hitting only .136 over the course of the last 30 games he has played since the middle of August.
You know, despite that, there are people that follow this Pittsburgh Pirates team around who will tell you that Russell Martin is the MVP of this ball club. That without Russell Martin, the pitching staff wouldn't be what they are. He's one of the best in blocking pitches, one of the best in throwing out runners, executing a game plan. So he does all the things behind the plate, but he has not been able to find his groove offensively.
He awaits a 2-1 here from Homer Bailey, and now request time. That's Mark Wegner calling the balls and strikes in this game. Tim Timmons, Mike Winters, Laz Diaz, his umpiring mates tonight. Good to see Homer out there in the month of September. You look at his breakdown month per month throughout his career. September has been the month when he has shined the most. 13 wins and an under 3 ERA in September. 2.99, the best of any month in his career. Of course, he had the no-hitter. In fact, this was the pitching matchup last September the 28th. A year ago tomorrow, when Bailey had the no-hitter in Pittsburgh, the first of the 2 that he has thrown, came against A.J. Burnett in a 1-0 Reds win. And almost a week after the Reds had clinched the National League Central with that victory here at home over the Dodgers on the 22nd. Almost a week later, Bailey with a no-no over in Pittsburgh. Boy, that is some sort of location right there. They do not get the call from Mark Wegner.
Boy, in a series and a game like this, just like it is in the postseason, there's as much pressure on the umpire as anybody else. Of course, there's no review of balls and strikes. Only the balls that are hitting the stands, whether they're fair or foul or home runs or not, can be reviewed. And when you've got a guy like Homer Bailey out there throwing 97 miles an hour, I mean, you've got the blink of an eye to make that decision. So there is some pressure in that guy behind the catcher, as well as everybody else in this ballpark.
So in that very close 3-2, Martin draws the walk, and now it's Clint Barmas. Chris, you and I both looked at that article that was in the the Wall Street Journal when we were on the road recently down in Houston, about the changes that will come next year regarding instant replay. And
if everything's approved.
Yeah, if everything is approved. And they discussed the possibility, I guess it was discussed, the possibility of balls and strikes not being called exclusively by the umpire, but they nixed that.
Yeah, I would think at some point the umpires are going to say enough help is enough help. And they certainly want help on those calls that are over near the outfield wall, and then ones that they don't get a good look at. But I think any umpire, or even all the way down the amateur level, feels like he can call balls and strikes by being right behind the catcher.
Story said that 8% basically of pitches per game are ruled as incorrect. I thought that was an incredibly low number.
Well, if you consider how many are swings and misses, and how many are fouled off, and how many are right down the middle, then if you really start looking at the marginal pitches and which ones are actually balls and strikes, and then there's also some considered talk about, you know, maybe the FX system that they have is not exactly 100% accurate. It's very close, but is it exactly accurate on every pitch? I kind of like the fact that you have the human element involved. I think for the most part the umpires do a fantastic job.
Line drive over the outstretched glove of Phillips and quickly out into center. Chu does a nice job to get over and cut that ball off, and so the light hitting Clint Barmas, 212 coming into tonight on the year, gets the first Pirate hit.
Now, the one thing this does, and Barmas is the number 8 hitter, is that it brings the pitcher up in this inning. And A.J. Burnett has never been a terrific hitter. He's hitting .073 this year. But it does allow you to bat your pitcher in the second inning. Thereby, if you do get Burnett out, the Pirates are able to lead off with the leadoff man in the top of the third.
So 2 on with 2 out. A.J. Burnett has 4 hits and a couple of RBIs this year. Martin out at second. Barmas over at first. Final night game during the regular season here tonight. Afternoon game tomorrow. Afternoon game on Sunday. Quickly 2 strikes now to A.J. Burnett. Tomorrow's game on the Fox network. Chris and I will be back on Sunday here on Fox Sports Ohio with the 110 wrap-up of the regular season. And we really hope that game means nothing in terms of where the Reds will be come Tuesday. They can win tonight, win tomorrow. It wouldn't matter what they did on Sunday. Boy, it looked like Mark Wegner was ready to ring him up right there, didn't it?
He flinched.
Yeah.
You know, there was a day that an umpire would ring a pitcher up in a situation like that, you know, given the fact that he's a pitcher and da-da-da. But nowadays, with that system where you see the Fox tracks, they don't do that anymore. They try to call it exactly the way it is.
From 0-2 now to 2-2. Pitcher versus pitcher. Bailey and Hannigan.
I think Hannigan's got to be out there telling Homer Bailey, hey, come on now. Let's not run this, make any more drama than we have to see here. This guy's not going to hit your fastball. He's certainly not going to hit your breaking ball. Whatever we call right here, throw a strike with.
So the two discuss out on the hill. Homer Bailey, 7th-year major leaguer, former #1 pick by the Reds back in 2004, and Ryan Hannigan, longtime catcher here with Cincinnati, catches Bailey most of the time. Get together on a 2-2 pitch here in the top of the second. So from 0-2 now to 3-2. Burnett could be flailing away up there, hoping he can, whether by accident or on purpose, make contact.
I don't think he's flailed yet, and I'm not so sure he's going to. I think he's given his eyeballs a lot of exercise in this at bat.
Runners on the move, and strike 3 on the swing and a miss. Down goes Burnett on strikes. First strikeout of the night for Homer Bailey. Bruce due up first in the bottom of the second. by Walgreens. The first 20,000 fans receive a 2013 team photo. Plus, don't miss all the drawings for fan prizes that'll go on throughout the game. The postseason chase is on, so come on out. See your Reds and the Pirates on Sunday. Call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or log on to reds.com/tickets. Reds fans, remember, if a Reds home run hits this Toyota sign during tonight's game, Lisa Linford from Amelia, Ohio, will win this beautiful new Tundra that's on display here at Great American Ballpark. And we thank everyone who has registered this year at our Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers for the chance to win the Toyota Tundra. A.J. Burnett gave up a hit in the first with 2 out to Votto. He'll now get Bruce, Frazier, and Cozart here in the bottom of the second. Really was after the second inning of that game last Saturday. The Reds got the home run from Cozart and went up 2-0. After the second, they never put a runner other than Ludwig in the 6th in scoring position, and never had more than 4 batters in the game over the course of the last 7. That's how dominant Burnett was, along with Brian Morris, Justin Wilson, and then ultimately Jason Grilli, all out of the Pirate bullpen in that 4-2 win when these two, Burnett and Bailey, got together last week. Burnett, career-wise, has really had the number of Jay Bruce, to the tune of only 3 hits, 24 career at-bats. Frazier to follow, and Cozart here in the bottom of the second. And a strikeout. So the dominance by Burnett against Bruce continues. First out, second inning.
And it's almost like Jay Bruce knows that this curveball is coming and he can't keep himself from chasing it. A pitch that starts at the knees, look for a moment like it's going to be a strike, only to find itself down near the dirt by the time it gets into the catcher's mitt.
So A.J. Burnett, who came in 5th in the National League in strikeouts with 203 and 1st in the NL in strikeouts per 9 innings at 10 per game.
You know, there just aren't that many pitchers out there that can throw the curveball with the command that Burnett has. I mean, he almost commands his curveball the way most pitchers would like to command their fastball.
He's a career 146 game winner, and you just figure that he'll get a chance somewhere next year to win game number 150. Reno. Frazier 1 home run away from equaling his total of a year ago when he hit 19. Career high in RBIs this year at 72. Swinging on the 3-0 pitch, and it's 3-1. Ball 4, so Frazier is aboard. First walk of the game by Burnett. So a second inning base runner for Dusty Baker's club. Batter will be Zach Cozart. Cozart's home run against Burnett in the second inning last week that gave the Reds a 2-0 lead in that game over in Pittsburgh. Well, what a second half that Zach has had. Overall at 254, 284 since the All-Star break. was that home run talking about on Saturday in Pittsburgh?
Cozart has 12 home runs on the year, and 3 of them have come against the Pirates. Got a fastball in the inner part of the plate right there. But he's facing a guy tonight that simply does not give up very many home runs at all, especially recently.
Yeah, only 2 in his last 15 starts. The Cozart homer and the Jed Jerko home run in late August.
That's really one of the successes of this Pirates team, is that they've been able to keep the ball in the yard, especially against their National League Central Division competitors. They have given up only 51 home runs against the NL Central. That is far fewer than any other team. The Reds, for instance, have given up 82 home runs to National League Central teams.
Now, how would you compare in terms of ballparks, Great American Ballpark to PNC Park, in terms of home run?
It's much more of a pitcher's ballpark in Pittsburgh, no doubt about it, but I think there's more to it than just that.
Sure.
You know what, this ballpark this year has, in my opinion anyway, played rather fair. We haven't had the long, prolonged hot streak or a heat wave where for 2 weeks you're coming out and it's 95 degrees and the balls are flying out of here all over the place. We've never really had a stretch when the Reds have been at home where it's been like that.
Cozart chases that. Foul tipped into the glove of Martin, and according to Mark Wegner, Martin hangs on. Cozart is strikeout victim.
You know, when you're a curveball pitcher like A.J. Burnett, you have a lot of different varieties of curves. Sometimes he'll throw it from the side. Sometimes he'll get his fingers on top a little more. He'll add speed to it, tighten up the rotation, and not have it break as much. It's kind of like facing Bronson Arroyo without the big looping curveball and some real slow stuff mixed in. He pretty much stays hard with it.
Hannigan, a solid base hit into center on a first pitch fastball right over the heart of the plate. And so the number 8 hitter for the Reds, like the number 8 hitter for the Pirates, gives the pitcher a chance to bat with 2 on, 2 out.
Well, the difference here, though, is that Homer Bailey is a much more accomplished hitter than A.J. Burnett. First pitch fastball swinging a little bit on the end of the bat, but he battles it right into center field.
Good to see Hannigan do that, because he really hadn't been hitting much as of late. He ended an 0 for 17 hole with a base hit on Monday against the Mets. Still, September has not been kind to him, but he gets the hit here, the second of the game by the Reds. So now it's Bailey. Tough play. Alvarez gets it. High throw, but Morneau adjusts and makes the play. Bailey is gone, and the Reds strand a pair here in the bottom of the second. Serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Look at the Reds now in September. This is a bit of a turnaround from what happened with this team most of the year. 8-2 against playoff teams, the Cardinals, the Dodgers, and these Pirates. 6-7 against non-playoff teams. For some reason or another, the Reds have kind of turned it around. Really can go even further back than that into August, where they played well against teams that are either above 500 or, as this graphic indicates, playoff-bound teams. Not so well against the teams that you figured they would beat up on, teams that they had always played very well against.
But isn't that the game of baseball? I mean, it's so hard to. All it takes is one good pitcher pitching against you for a team with a bad record to shut you down on any particular night, and the Reds have seen that. You know, they saw it in this most recent series against the New York Mets. They saw it against the Cubs. They saw it nearly every time that Travis Wood took them out against the Reds. And, you know, the Cubs didn't have a good year overall, but individually there are some pitchers out there having good years. And that's the thing about baseball, that not always does the best team win on every night.
You can point to that Milwaukee team that had any number of different pitchers that really pitched well against the Reds. Well, this one 2-2, rather 0-0 through 2. Now into the third we go. And the top of the order for the Pirates. That means Marte, Walker, and McCutchen. Marte started this game by grounding out to short. Frazier in on the grass at third. Marte shows bunt and takes a strike. Marte this year 135 strikeouts, second on this team to Marlon Byrd's total for the year, but most on this team that have played here all year. No exception in terms of the strikeouts, in terms of what he's done against the Reds. He came into this game with 20 Ks and 54 strikeouts against Reds pitching. One every 2.5 times up. Hitting. Second batter that Reds pitching has hit tonight. In the first inning, Bailey hit Walker. In the third inning here, he hit Starling Marte. And that would tie them for the most, or put them ahead of Boston and the Yankees for the most hit batsmen between the two teams.
I don't think there's any indication that that was intentional at all. It's just a fastball that he overthrew. You fly your shoulder open, your arm lags a little bit behind, and it runs right in on the right-handed hitter. Meanwhile, you put a guy on base who can steal a base. He has stolen 40 of them on the year.
That's third in the National League. That's the first time this year that Bailey has hit two batters in a game. Now it's Neil Walker. He was hit by the pitch in the first inning.
You know, Bailey in his last couple of ball games has had a couple times where he's walked a lot of batters. He walked 4 in his last ball game. That was at Pittsburgh. And he was kind of getting on himself about that after the ball game, saying, hey, it's on me because I couldn't throw the ball where I wanted to. But overall, what he's done this year is what you look for in a young pitcher. You know, the walks go down, the strikeouts go up, and you see that improvement every year. All of a sudden, you've got a guy on your team that you run out in the playoffs and feel real good about it.
Runner on the move, and a line drive foul down the left field line. Well, you've got two of the premier catchers in this game, don't you, in terms of throwing out runners?
Yeah, you do. They're both veteran catchers. They know how to set their feet. They've got good, accurate arms. This is a good matchup of two teams from a lot of different perspectives. You know, teams that pitch well, that have good bullpens overall, that have catchers that mean so much to their ball club defensively, especially.
Martin's thrown out 29 would-be base stealers, the most in the National League. Both come in basically at 41% accuracy in throwing out potential stealers.
When you talk about throwing out 29, that's an entire game's worth.
Yeah. Hannigan has not thrown out that many, but he is not an everyday catcher here. He's thrown out 12.
Well, the guy standing in the batter's box, and Neil Walker was in the minor leagues a catcher. Then he moved him to third base, moved him to second base.
Hits this ball hard toward right center. Chu on the run. Chu will get there and make the grab. Solid contact by Neil Walker. Good jump on that ball and a good read by Shin-Soo Chu.
Well, it was solid contact, but it came off an off-speed pitch. And if you're out in front a little bit, and Walker was on that one, you're not going to drive it out of the ballpark. A split finger fastball, got it up a little bit, but still got him out on his front foot just enough to keep it in the ballpark.
Here's the MVP candidate now off this Pirate team, Andrew McCutchen. He had a slow month of April, 247, but since then has hit over 300 in each of the months of the season since then. Comes into this game, as I mentioned earlier, 4th in the league at 318. The Reds can hope that a little bit of a dry spell that he's been going through as of late in the last 2 weeks, under 200, continues here in this weekend series. Saw that graphic up there earlier in terms of steals. Gene Segura and Eric Young Jr., the Brewers and the Mets respectively, tied for the league leading steals with 44. Then this man Marte at 40. Andrew McCutchen in the top 5 in the list also at 27.
You know, it's kind of interesting, really. The guy that plays a center fielder, but Marte is really a center fielder stuck in a corner outfield position. And the Pirates have decided, well, we don't need the old traditional power in the corners. We'll just use a very good athlete. They've developed some young players, Marte being one of them. And he gives you that dimension of being able to manufacture a run.
He's going. Foul ball at the plate. So twice Marte has been on the move. Twice he's been thwarted. So back to first base he goes. On the move again. He slipped a little bit, but the pitch was in the dirt. And Hannigan does a good job of just making sure that ball doesn't get by him with a runner going. He could have ended up at third base. Stolen base number 41 for Marte.
Well, Hannigan throws his right leg out there, and he's able to do a little kick save right there to keep that ball from going in the backstop. It wouldn't have mattered either way, as the runner is going to move up. A case where Bailey just trying to bury that split finger fastball, overthrowing a little bit. I mean, you got to appreciate where Homer is right now. I mean, he's got a lot of adrenaline going out there. I mean, you want to make every pitch a great one, because you know if you hang one, it may mean the difference in the ball game.
Comes after him with a sharp breaking ball there. McCutchen did a good job to lay off, and it's 2-2.
And Homer's most recent memory is exactly that, where he hung one. It was to Russell Martin right after an error in the infield. And that 2-run home run that Martin had in Homer's last start was the difference in the ball game. So when it's fresh in your mind like that, you tend to overthrow, tend to bounce the ball a little bit, especially on your breaking balls.
Oh, Hannigan really having to work hard to keep that ball in front of him tonight.
Hockey's in season. Wow.
Starling Marte, first full year as a member of this Pirates team in terms of getting a chance to play every day out in left field. Spent a couple of weeks on the disabled list earlier. You see him with that hand guard that he is wearing there.
You know, I'm not so sure that thing ought to be legal. Doesn't look like it gives him a little bit of an extension
of his fingers. You're exactly right. There's ball 4.
I mean, that would give you an advantage over how long your fingers normally are. Look at his hand over here on the left, and then look at it on the right. You tell me which one is longer right there. If he reaches out with that right hand, that little paw, I mean, he gains a good 2 or 3, 4 inches on the tag, or on the tag of the bag if he goes head first.
Hey, I'm with you. I think you make a good point there. I wonder if there's been a manager that has brought that up to the umpires this year.
I don't know. There might be now.
That's a darn good
point. Might be some managers out there watching this game. I think that most of that stuff has to be approved by Major League Baseball. I know that there are strict regulations as to how big baseball gloves can be, as far as the length of the glove. And outfielders use the biggest glove, infielders use the smallest gloves, and first baseman's gloves have their own specifications and so on. I don't know if there's anything that covers an appendage that a runner uses, but it seems to me that he gets a little bit of an advantage right there with that little mitt that's on his right hand.
No question about it. So here's Morneau. He was up in the first inning with a runner in scoring position, 2 out, lined out to right. Pirates have had a runner in scoring position now in each of the first 3 innings of this game. Love a double play ball here. And again in the dirt, scooped out of there by Hannigan. Ball strike ratio tonight for Bailey is not where he'd like to see it.
Even. Same number of balls and strikes.
Morneau has hit into 11 double plays this year, 2 of the Pirates. Marte hit by a pitch to start the inning. Walker lined out. Marte stole second. McCutchen draws a 3-2 walk. Now, Bailey may have gotten the benefit of the doubt on that pitch. Same spot, same call. 1-2. That's what they're looking for, right?
Well, Morneau is saying, hey, well, I think the hollows of my knees are higher than that bottom of the strike zone. But according to our Fox tracks, both of those pitches, numbers 2 and 3, are strikes.
Just catching the bottom, but it doesn't matter, right? 1-2. Right-handed hitter Marlon Byrd waits on deck. Hardy cut there. Keeping an eye tonight on the Philadelphia-Atlanta game going on down in Atlanta. They're scoreless in the second inning of that game. About 10 minutes from now, they'll start in St. Louis. The Cubs and the Cardinals. Down the left field line and out of play. Remember, the wild card winner, and we hope that that's the Reds, the wild card winner will play the team with the best record in the National League. And right now, going into action tonight on this, the 160th game of the year, the Cardinals and the Braves interaction with identical records of 94 and 65. So it's conceivable that if the Reds can get out of the wild card game, they still could play the Cardinals in the division series or the Braves. I guess mathematically they could play the Dodgers still, although the Dodgers now have 68 losses and do not hold the wild card. So really, I guess the Dodgers are not an option any longer. It'll be either the Cardinals or the Braves if the Reds can get out of the wild card situation. Bailey now at 51 pitches. He labors to get through the third. Reds umpires in the stands moan and groan about that pitch.
Of course, we can go back and look at it in the Fox Tracks box and tell you whether it was a ball or a strike. It shows that it was outside.
Oh, what a great crowd here on this Friday night.
They're into every pitch.
See if the runners are moving. They are, and it's ball 4. So a hit batsman and 2 walks here in the third has given the Pirates the best chance of this game.
Now let's take a look at this at bat. It ends up in a base on balls to Justin Morneau, but brought to you by Mazda and our Mazda pitch by pitch. He's going to just keep the ball down just about the entire at bat against Justin Morneau. They don't want to get the ball up. He likes to hit the ball to left center field, and it's more difficult when that ball is very down. He finally gets a couple of pitches and all fastballs, a breaking ball there, misses outside. That was the close one, and ends up way outside with a fastball and puts him on base. So a long at bat for Homer Bailey ends up in our Mazda pitch by pitch base on balls.
Love a double play ball here. Love the strikeout. Bird is the leader on this team in strikeouts, and he hits a ball in the left by the diving Cozart. Marte scores. McCutchen will score. Pirates draw first blood. They've scored twice here in the top of the third and take a 2-0 lead. Bird wasted no time at all.
Well, why would you? Because you just saw a guy load the bases on a hit batter and walks. You know you're going to get a strike, and if it's anywhere near where you want it, you're going to be swinging the bat. Bird picks up overall RBIs 85 and 86. McCutchen tearing around third base. Comes in without a throw, or way ahead of the throw.
Alfredo Simon now is up in the Reds bullpen. Pedro Alvarez, he takes one out of the strike zone.
That's where Homer Bailey's got to be his own pitching coach. Brian Price has already been out there. Brian Hannigan has been out there several times. If he's making an adjustment, he's going to have to figure out how to do it himself.
Boy, the 35-year-old Marlon Byrd, as Chris mentioned, now with 86 RBIs, only 3 shy of his career best back in 2009 when he drove in 89 as a Texas Ranger. Pretty good effort for a 35-year-old.
Well, the Pirates figure that this is the year, and they really helped themselves at the trading deadline when they picked up Bird and they picked up Justin Morneau.
And they get the benefit of a hit batsman and 2 walks from Bailey in this inning to take the lead. And Homer gets ahead of Alvarez. Minimize the damage here with a double play ball. Team high 15 of them hit into by Pedro. He is the leader in strikeouts in the National League with 185. To Phillips. There's one. There's the other double play. 16th of the year hit into by Alvarez. Tops on this Pirates team. And the minimal damage sits at 2 for Pittsburgh. about this weekend series. And will the Bengals have to face the Browns without Leon Hall or Reggie Nelson? Find out who will be the Buckeyes special guest this weekend on the sidelines as they take on the Wisconsin Badgers. FoxSportsOhio.com has complete coverage from all of today's action involving Ohio sports. Big hit by Marlon Byrd, giving him RBIs 85 and 86 on the year, and a 2-0 Pirate lead on the benefit of only the one hit against Homer Bailey. There's allowed 2 runs, 2 hits now thus far, and so the Reds need to come from behind here on this Friday night. And they get it started with Chu here in the bottom of the 3rd. Reds trying to end a drought of 15 consecutive innings without scoring. They were blanked on Wednesday here. They haven't scored since they scored a run in the 5th inning Tuesday against the Mets in that 4-2 loss. Chu quickly in the hole. Chu, another one that has a very good on-base percentage against this Pittsburgh team. Not due to walks like Votto, but due to the fact that he's been hit 6 times by Pirate pitching. Morneau will take it himself, and Chu is gone. Reminder coming up later in the broadcast, our Miller Time moment of the night, brought to you by Miller Lite. One out for Ryan Ludwig. Talked about it earlier. Ludwig 88 times in his career, all as a Cardinal. Is hit out of the number 2 spot in the batting order. Last time he did it was July the 25th, 2010 at Wrigley Field. He's actually hit in terms of average very well out of the 2 spot, 314. Batting here in the 2-hole for the first time as a Red tonight. Burnett gets ahead 2 strikes. Four ground ball outs so far for A.J. Burnett of the 7 outs that he has been responsible for. He's a big ground ball pitcher. Came in at 72% ground ball outs.
Well, you can see how that can happen. I mean, that's a number that's off the charts, really, as far as being so proficient in getting ground balls. I mean, that's the National League leader right there by a long shot.
Like 3 of the top 5 in that group were Pirates.
Yeah, and you go back to that about this, the fact that I mentioned the Pirates pitching staff does not give up very many home runs to the rest of the National League Central Division. Well, the ballpark might be part of it, but this is way more of it right here in the amount of ground balls. They pitch down in the zone. They don't have a lot of hard throwers that challenge hitters up in the zone, and that's consequently they keep the ball in the ballpark.
So Burnett gets the first 2 as Ludwig becomes his 3rd strikeout victim. Now he gets Votto with the bases empty. Boy, there's a big time difference, Chris, in these 2 pitchers and what they've done first pitch strikes. Burnett 10 of 12. Bailey only 8 of 15.
And not only with fastballs either. That's what the success of Burnett has been, is he's able to spot that curveball.
Into left center field, dropping fast, coming on, and did he catch that ball? He did. The left fielder, Starling Marte, takes a hit away from Joey Votto, gets the out call from the second base umpire, Mike Witters, and a 1-2-3 inning turned in by A.J. Burnett. trivia question of the night. Other than these two teams, the Reds and the Pirates, name the other National League World Series participants in 1970. Of course, these two teams were in, it seemed like, every year in the 70s. Name the other National League World Series participants in the 70s. I can think of one. And there may be more. Starling Marte, a stolen base, a run scored in this game, and that very nice catch out in left to end the bottom of the third. You know, the Pirates and their catcher Russell Martin lead things off here in the fourth. Martin, a free agent signee by the Pirates this winter. He signed a 2-year deal, so he'll be as a Pirate next year as well. Longtime Dodger, a couple of years wearing the Yankee pinstripes. This year a Pirate. Bailey comes into this inning through 3 at 58 pitches thrown. Marked difference from his mound opponent tonight, A.J. Burnett, threw 41 pitches.
Well, there is a difference there, but if you're Dusty Baker, you like a guy to go deep into the game, but you've got plenty of ammunition down there after an off day. You just want zeros on the board. You're not really, secondarily, you care about how many pitches your starter has. It's not like you're trying to save the bullpen for tomorrow and the next day. You're going to go ahead and try to win this ball game, and pretty good location on the fastball there.
Homer gets his second strikeout, putting him now at 198 on the year, 2 away from his first ever 200 strikeout season. He's now with Clint Barmas, who had a hit in the second that allowed Burnett to bat in that inning, which turned the batting order over and allowed Marte to lead off third. That's when the Pirates scored their 2 runs. Bailey always been, really until this year, a Pirate killer. He had gone 8-2 through his first 12 career starts against the Pirates. This year, 3 starts against them, 0-2, and in fact the Reds have lost all 3 games that he has started against them in 2013.
I'm not so sure that's really Homer Bailey. I think that's more the Pirates have gotten a lot better, obviously.
Hannigan hops on this, and out at first is Barmas.
In fact, the last 2 games that Homer Bailey's pitched against the Pirates, if he gets one more out in the second game, both of those losses would be quality starts, quote unquote. So I think it's a fact that all of a sudden the Pirates have gotten a whole lot better over here the last couple of years.
So 2 out, and it's A.J. Burnett. Homer looking for his first perfect inning of this game. Burnett a strikeout victim his first time. Pirates get 2 in the third on the big hit by Marlon Byrd to left with the bases loaded. Turned out to be the only hit of that inning. Hit batsman and a couple of walks, and then the base hit by Byrd.
Boy, 2 hit by pitch batters, 1 hit by pitch umpire.
That one spun Burnett around as well.
That was a complete cross-up right there, because obviously Brian Hannigan's looking for something that's going to break over the plate. That ball just took off on him.
Martin out on strikes. Barmas tapped out in front of the plate. Now it's Burnett. Reds in their fourth. Heart of the order: Phillips, Bruce, Frazier. Well, that thing is scalded by Burnett, but right at Brandon Phillips, who makes the play. Burnett is gone. 1-2-3 inning in the fourth by Homer Bailey. A dealer or visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by the JTM Food Group, let's create great dishes together. Beautiful Friday night here in downtown Cincinnati, Ohio. Reds in their short end now, trailing 2-0, and this is the 160th game of the year. This Friday night, September the 27th, big day for Dale Thompson. We sent out a special birthday wish to Dale, a Purple Heart recipient of the Korean War with the Marines, turning 85 years old today, and to Alvera Daly, turning the robust age of 101.
Wow, and a birthday goes out to Hamilton resident and a huge Reds fan, Bill Patterson, turning 90 today. We wish him a happy birthday, as well as Phil Myers, affectionately known as Clark, watching from down in Elk River, North Carolina. He's got the whole group of them, I'm sure, gathered around the TV in the lodge, and they're keeping their fingers crossed for a Reds win. So happy birthday, Phil.
All on this day, September 27th. Well, let's go see if the Reds can help celebrate those birthdays with a W here. Phillips tries to get it started in the bottom of the fourth. Pittsburgh leading by a count of 2-0. Burnett had a season high 12 strikeouts against the Reds last Saturday over there in Pittsburgh. He has 3 tonight. Phillips popped up his first time. Phillips moved down to the 4 spot again tonight, the cleanup spot where he has been most of the year and where he has done most of his damage. First ever 100 RBI season for him. He sits at 102, but only 3. It's hard to fathom, but only 3 RBIs in the month of September.
Well, part of that is being moved to the number 2 spot, obviously, and part of that is not hitting the ball as well as he did in the month of August.
Lowest monthly total in RBIs he's had this year is 17. He drove in 17 in June, 17 in August, but only 3 here in the month of September. Nice play, and out at first base.
Well, Brandon knew that was going to be a wild pitch. He went down and he tried to stab the bag with his hand as he went by, just couldn't get it. Alvarez has 27 errors. I mean, you hold your breath if you're a Pirates fan every time a ball is hit down there to third base. Makes a nice play to get to him, but he comes up and fires wild. But that's the one area that Morneau has really helped the Pirates is defense. This guy is very good with the glove. And despite trying to get around the tag and get the bag, he just can't quite get back there to get it.
A nice job by both defenders. Good job by Alvarez to flag that ball down, and then Morneau off the base to get that ball and put the tag on Brandon. Here's Bruce. Strikeout victim his first time. Trying to solve A.J. Burnett, something he has not been able to do throughout his career. Morneau to Burnett for out number 2. Reminder to catch all the action of the 2013 Major League Baseball postseason coming up on Fox, TBS, and the MLB Network. It all starts October the 1st. Big Friday night gathering here at Great American Ballpark. They have not had a whole lot to cheer about as of yet. Reds have 2 hits, a single by Votto in the first, single by Hannigan in the second. Now gone down 6 in a row since Hannigan's base hit. Frazier lines one down the left field line, off the screen, home run, Todd Frazier, number 19, and the Reds are on the board.
To be a little bit of a gut decision by Dusty Baker to play Todd Frazier in this ball game. After all, he's not faced A.J. Burnett at all this year. Lifetime, he's won for 10 against Burnett. So all the numbers say, why would you play Frazier in this game? And Dusty Baker going with his everyday horses, and it pays off right there with a good swing by Frazier.
And you mentioned it earlier. He's only given up 10 home run balls this year, A.J. Burnett. 5 at home, 5 on the road, and very stingy in that area. But number 19 for Frazier ends the drought of 15, make that 16 straight innings without scoring a run.
Well, I remember the first at bat that Frazier had against Burnett in this ball game, and all he kept trying to do was to crowd him with up and in fastballs, and he eventually walked him on a 3-1 pitch. But Burnett, for some reason, decided to go away with the curveball against Todd Frazier, pitch him inside with fastballs, made a mistake, and Frazier was right there.
Well, it equals his career high, the number he put up a year ago at 19 for Frazier. Gives him the RBI number 73. He continues a pretty good month of September. His 6th home run this month. That puts him now tied for 3rd in RBIs on this team behind Bruce and Phillips, and now he ties Votto for 3rd on the team with 73. It's a 2-1 game. Cozart homered against Burnett on Saturday a week ago over in Pittsburgh. He does it here. This game would be all even. Well, we said the fans had nothing to cheer about. That's their first big opportunity right there in the Frazier home run. Right off the fencing of the foul pole down the left field line. Toward the middle, that's going to scoot through, and that's a base hit for Cozart. A little 2-out magic by the Reds. A home run and now a base hit, the tying run aboard.
Boy, Zach Cozart has really come on here in the second half of the year, really from about August on. Has caught fire. Ball's dropping in for him, taking the ball back through the middle. Did not look good at all in his first at bat. Was struck out on a breaking ball. That time he got a fastball from Burnett and was able to keep the inning alive with a bouncing base hit.
So now it's Hannigan. Solid single into center his first time. And he'll roll one to the shortstop. Armas makes the play, and the Reds leave the tying run on base. But get on the board on this by Todd Frazier, his 19th of the year. 2-1 Pittsburgh through 4. Behind the scenes of this game and this series to give you an inside look at these Reds as they battle the Pirates in a preview of the NL wildcard game with home field advantage on the line. That's Mission October, Reds October. Is this Monday only on Fox Sports 1. To find Fox Sports 1 on your provider, go to foxsports1.com. Todd Frazier gets the Reds on the scoreboard with his 19th of the year. Cutting the deficit in half now at 2-1. Ending that drought of 16 consecutive innings for the Reds here without a run being scored. They were blanked 1-0 in the game on Wednesday, wrapping up that Mets series. Now Bailey, who had clearly his best inning in the fourth, back to work here at number 5. Top of the order featuring Starling Marte. Hit by a pitch to start the third, stole a base. Moved over to third and a walk to Marneau, and then scored on the base hit to left by Bird. See Bailey and the Reds again wearing those Los Rojos jerseys tonight, all part of Los Rojos, pardon me, tonight, all part of Hispanic Heritage Night here at the ballpark as Bailey gets the strikeout. I think it's the second time the Reds have won them this year.
Bailey being much more aggressive here in the last couple of innings than he was in the first 3. He came right after Marte, 3 strikes right there, and Marte was trying to work the count. There was nothing to work.
That is strikeout number 4, and that puts Bailey now at 200 strikeouts on the year. And that's out number 2. I stand corrected on that. That is strikeout number 3 for Bailey. So he's now at 199 in terms of strikeouts on the year. Make sure you're ready for Reds action 30 minutes before every game. That's with Reds Live here on Fox Sports Ohio. Reds Live brought to you by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Big Fox will have the game tomorrow, so we'll be back with another edition of Reds Live pregame Sunday beginning at 12:30. So 2 out for McCutchen. Let's see, my Illinois math tells me Burnett, Martin, and Marte have struck out, so that's 3. So 199 for Bailey on the season in terms of strikeouts. McCutchen, a ground ball, a walk, and a run scored in this game. 0 for 1. Bailey seems to have made some sort of an adjustment these last couple of innings.
I think it's a mental adjustment, actually, that he's decided he's just going to be more aggressive and throw strikes and stop nibbling around the corners of the strike zone. I mean, his stuff is too good to fall behind because he's afraid to throw the ball over the plate. There are some pitchers that have to be very careful. Bailey may not be one of them. Not with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball and a sharp breaking pitch. But all year long, the Reds have been able to handle McCutchen. In fact, the batting average that he has against the Reds this year at .230 is the lowest of any division team. Doesn't do a lot of damage against the St. Louis Cardinals. Does a lot against the Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers.
Just missed getting strikeout number 200 right there, and a full count.
Of course, you're looking at 2 teams, the Cardinals and the Reds, that are pitching rich.
Misses for ball 4. Walk number 4 for Bailey. A base runner with 2 out. Reds, of course, have set a new franchise record for strikeouts this year. Coming into this game, 1,275. They'd rewritten the record books a year ago with 1,248, and they've broken that a mere 1 year later.
It just seems strikeouts around baseball are up. Talk to batting coaches behind the batting cage, and all shake their heads and say it's a different breed of hitter nowadays.
Here's the former American League MVP as a member of the Minnesota Twins. Now Justin Morneau bats with 2 men out.
Used to be an embarrassment to strike out, but no longer.
Dusty Baker has talked about then, said as much. Back in his day, he said it was an embarrassment if you struck out as much as some of these guys do. Top 2 in the National League this year are playing in this game.
A little better lead now by McCutchen.
As Diaz down at third says no. Morneau did not go around. 2 balls, no strikes. Morneau, the MVP back in 2006 as a 25-year-old. He's 32 now. 4-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger winner. Now he's at 2-1.
Yeah, 2-0 fastball, pretty much right down the middle at 94, and he's very late on it.
Really was a concussion that has sidelined him back in 2010, and I guess really this year is the first year he's put up numbers as if he has totally recovered. Got a knee to the helmet, sliding into second base. Back in 2010 with the Twins, looked at the time to be relatively harmless, but it really knocked him for a loop. He played in only 81 games that year, only 69 the year after that. 134 with the Twins a year ago. And now a full count.
Well, he's really not giving anything to Morneau worth his swinging at. I mean, if you want to define a strike as a meaningful strike from the eyes of a hitter. It's not down around where Homer Bailey's been keeping the ball against Morneau.
Well, now McCutchen will be on the move from first. Votto moves behind him there. 3-2 with 2 out. Runner on the move. Foul ball. Big news in baseball this week off the field was the announcement, I guess yesterday, that Commissioner Bud Selig says that he will step down as the Commissioner of Baseball as of January of 2015. The long-time Commissioner of this game. One more full season next year. Off again, McCutchen. Nice play to his left by Frazier. Straightens up and throws a strike across to Votto. Morneau is gone, and the Pirates leave their 5th base runner of this game. Other than the Reds and the Pirates, name the other National League World Series participants in the 70s. I mentioned the one I knew, the Mets. The only other one, the Dodgers, 3 times. So the Mets, the Dodgers, the Reds, the Pirates, only 4 teams that represented the National League in the World Series in the 70s. Those are, of course, the Reds winners that you saw there. They were also in the World Series in 70 and in 72. Lost in 70 to the Orioles. Lost in 72 to the Athletics. Here's Bailey now leading off the bottom of the 5th. Pretty good AT&T trivia question tonight.
Glad you like it.
I don't know how Josh Hall comes up with those things off the top of his head.
I think Joel Luckham is his last resort.
Is he? Yeah. Feeding him information. Bailey bounced out his first time. Strikes out here and a 1-2 pitch in the dirt. Number 4 for Burnett. And the Columbus Crew, they're in a race for the playoffs in the MLS and need a win to stay in the postseason picture. Dwight Burgess, Chris Dorn are on the call when the Crew takes on Dallas. That's Sunday night at 8:30. All the action right here on Fox Sports Ohio. Burnett is not allowed a leadoff man to get on base in this game. Here's Chu for the third time. He's bounced out twice. You can argue that Chu in his first year in the National League is having the best year of his career this year, couldn't you?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, when you're up among the league leaders in walks and on base percentage and you're the leadoff hitter, and if you haven't done that before, and you combine it with a little bit of power as well. Chu with 21 home runs this year. And we've seen a lot of that, a lot of slap, a couple of strikes on him, staying inside the ball and just kind of taking it the other way. He's a real professional hitter.
And you talk about a guy who made the adjustment very quickly, changing leagues. Chu certainly has done that. That for the Reds, their fifth hit. They about hit the Pirates 5-2 and have the tying run on with one out.
Well, if you're Shin-Soo Choo, you've already made the adjustment of Korean baseball to American baseball, and I guess shifting from one league to the next is probably minor compared to how they play it back in his homeland.
Well, he's certainly having the best year of his career in terms of on base average, right up there amongst his career years in home runs, in stolen bases, new career high in terms of runs scored, right up there amongst his all-time highs in hits, in doubles. Been a very, very good year, and Reds fans have loved watching, as Dusty likes to call him, Mr. Chu, play for the Reds here in 13. There's those on-base leaders, three of them in this game: Votto, Chu, McCutchen. He's been pushing Votto really all year from that number 2 spot. Speaking of the number 2 spot, Ludwig in there tonight for the first time as a Red. He's grounded out, struck out. He's 0 for 2. He and Chu both eyeballing Mark Berry down there at third, going through the signs. Towards short. There's one. Quick turn by Walker, and that's a double play. Boy, he gets rid of it in a hurry. 6-4-3 inning-ending double play. in the third inning. First pitch after a couple of walks into left, scored a pair. Marte, then McCutchen in a 2-0 Pirate lead, which was cut in half in the bottom of the fourth. Number 19 of the year by Todd Frazier with 2 out and nobody on off the screening. And a 2-1 game, Pittsburgh. Meanwhile, A.J. Burnett, he was sharp last week in Pittsburgh. He's been sharp in this game. A walk and 4 strikeouts. Meanwhile, Homer Bailey, after a sluggish beginning, has now set down 7 of the last 8 Pirates that have come up there against him. That's tonight's Honda game summary. Bailey works into the 6th inning of this 2-1 game. 5 innings tonight give him 209 on the year, surpassing his innings pitched total of a year ago at 208, so a new career high for innings pitched for Homer Bailey. They said the same thing Wednesday about Matt Latos. They said the same thing here tonight against Bailey. So here's Bird, the owner of the 2 RBIs for Pittsburgh in this one, giving them the slimmest of leads, 2-1 margin. Lefty Alvarez, righty Martin to follow. Bailey at 88 pitches. He works here in the 6th. Hits this ball hard toward the Reds bullpen out in left center field, and that ball is off the wall. Bird's going to go into second.
And Clint Hurdle is going to argue that that ball was a home run, or at least ask for a review. Marlon Byrd thought it was. Brandon Phillips telling him you need to do more push-ups and one out of that part of the ballpark.
Here comes Marlon Byrd. Rather, here comes Clint Hurdle out. The 4 umpires will get together. They'll go in and look at it.
Hit it hard. That can't be debated. Whether it's out of the ballpark or not, they'll have to review to find out.
I would agree with the call. That hit off the yellow line, came back, Chris.
Yep.
That's a heck of a call right there by the umpire. It was right on top of that. Boy, it hits that corner right there to the left of the Reds bullpen at the yellow line and came back onto the field. Very good camera work too by our crew. Right there at the top of that corner. Gets it a couple of inches to the right. He's got himself a home run. We saw Brandon Phillips giving him a push-up sign earlier that you need to get a little bit stronger. That ball would have gone out. So Bird complies.
Should have done that in the on-deck circle.
Home run is under review. Our replay clearly showed it hit off the yellow line and came back, and the umpires are out very quickly and uphold the call.
You'll look right here in that, right on the corner. That ball clearly hit that pad and came back and stayed in the ballpark. So the quick review. I imagine when they do, if they implement them next year, but when they do eventually implement the new rules and the new procedure, where you essentially have a team back in Command Central in New York, that a decision like that will be nearly instantaneous.
That was pretty quick itself right there, but not as quick as they hope to get it in the future. You're right. Now, meanwhile, the Pirates are runner in scoring position to start inning number 6. Alfredo Simon back up and throwing in the Reds bullpen. 35th double by Marlon Byrd. 3rd most in a year in his career. Homer now at 92 in terms of pitches. First extra base hit by Pittsburgh. Third on the night, 2 of them owned by Bird. Alvarez, another one who the Reds have been able to handle via the strikeout this year. Up there now, bounced into an inning-ending double play as last time. Game tomorrow here on the Fox network beginning at 1:05. We'll be back on Fox Sports Ohio Sunday with a 1:10 game. Pedro Alvarez comes into tonight's action, second in the league with his 34 home runs, 7th in RBIs at 97. What they'd really like to do is shore up his defense. Well, only 26. All-star this year for the first time. But back-to-back 30 home run years together for this Pirates team. But he does lead the National League in strikeouts with 185. Hard into center. Chu going back. That is number 35. And puts Alvarez now at 99 RBIs and gives the Pirates a 4-1 lead here in the 6th.
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe Homer Bailey and Ryan Hannigan thought they had Alvarez set up for a fastball after having him way out in front of a previous pitch. If you get it in a spot, you might have him. He wanted it inside. It just kind of floated right back over the center of the plate, and Alvarez 35 bombs this year. That was a big boy home run.
And that, the last pitch of the 2013 regular season thrown by Homer Bailey, gives up the home run ball, his 20th of the year. So Bailey is finished. Alfredo Simon jogs in from the bullpen. This is our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen here at Great American Ballpark. Babies up to 3 years old for only $14. Members receive an exclusive Reds cap and bib, plus vouchers for members only experiences, including an on-field pregame parade, mascot, player photo session, free Reds tickets, and much more. To purchase your membership kit, you can visit Great American Ballpark, select Kroger locations, or log on to Reds.com/rookies. Pedro Alvarez, home run number 35. He's given the Pirates a little bit of breathing room now. They own a 3-run lead at 4-1. That puts Alvarez just one behind the leader, and Paul Goldschmidt with 36, and Alfredo Simon takes over. The epitome here lately, Chris, of a workhorse.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I mean, not only a workhorse, but a rubber-armed workhorse. 63 appearances, 85 innings. I mean, that's a go-to guy, and he's quickly become Dusty Baker's favorite go-to guy before you get late in the ball game, when you start playing matchups and you start bringing in guys like McCure and then, of course, Aroldis Chapman at the end of the ball game.
4 of his last 5 outings have been more than 1 inning, including a couple of 3-inning outings down in that Houston series. Last pitched on Tuesday, when an inning and 2/3 against the Mets in that 4-2 loss. He takes over for Bailey here in the 6th inning. For Homer, 5 innings plus 2 batters, 4 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. So he comes up 1 shy of 200 strikeouts, meaning he does not reach that plateau for the first time. Martin draws the walk to start his appearance by Simon. 5th walk given up by Reds pitching tonight. Now it's Barmes. Simon pretty busy with the Reds last year, but he's worked almost 25 innings more this year than he did a year ago. There has not been, in fact, a Reds reliever that has worked the kind of innings that Simon has worked this year, 85 2/3, coming into tonight's game, since Scott Sullivan threw over 100 innings back in 2001.
There is a workhorse for you.
Half the number of innings that a good starter gets in. First out of the inning, a strikeout of Barmes.
This is such a hard pitch for really anybody to negotiate, but especially a right-hander. A hard sinking fastball, 94 miles an hour, starts at inner third and ends up down around the shins off the plate. I mean, you really don't even want to hit that pitch because you'll sting your hand so bad.
Burnett chased that, strike 1.
Reds are trying to get a double play out of this ball. That's how hard that Frazier and Votto are charging right here. Burnett just puts the ball on the ground. There was nowhere in that infield to put the ball on the ground. I mean, they had this whole area covered right there.
Here comes Frazier again. Burnett pulled back. Is he going to try the infamous Butcher Boy right there? Frazier notorious for getting about as close as we've seen any third baseman get around the league. Creeping in from third. Called strike, 1 and 2. Also keeping an eye tonight on our spring training partner, the Cleveland Indians, trying to get into the American League wild card playoff game. They are leading their game tonight in the 3rd up at Minnesota, 7-0. 3 teams battling for 2 spots. Burnett strikes out. Tampa Bay, Cleveland, and the Texas Rangers. Reminder, stay with us after the game. Fox Sports Ohio, they'll break it all down. First ones to talk with Dusty Baker, the manager. Reds live postgame brought to you by King's Honda in the King's Auto Mall. We invite you to visit KingsHondaUSA.com. Back-to-back strikeouts by Simon of first Barmas, then Burnett. Top of the order now, Starling Marte. Pirates lead 4-1, 6th inning. Right at Cozart to end the inning. But a big 2-run homer to center by Pedro Alvarez. And the Pirates own a 4-1 lead heading into the bottom of the 6th. Here on Fox Sports Ohio. Reds Live will follow every Reds postseason game here on Fox Sports Ohio this postseason 2013. Immediately following any playoff game, flip over to Fox Sports Ohio for all the highlights and analysts from your local Reds broadcasters. Reds Live in the postseason, presented by Reds Apple Ale. That will be, if I'm not mistaken, you, Chris Welsh, right?
You're right.
You and Jim Day will be handling those chores.
Can't wait for that.
Breaking it all down.
Let's hope that there's some offense to break down, that the Reds can get a little flow going here.
Votto will try to get it going here against A.J. Burnett.
Votto's done his job. He's hit the ball hard twice, once for a base hit, once robbed by the left fielder Starling Marte.
Hits it the other way and deep into the corner. Marte, does he have room? He does, right near the 328 mark in the corner. Votto again going toward left. Marte there to take a hit away. So Joey 1 for 3. Batter will be Brandon Phillips. 0 for 2 tonight, but as we mentioned earlier, career-wise, a lot of success against A.J. Burnett coming into tonight's game. 9 for 25, a .360 average with a home run. Tonight, pop up and a ground out. Bruce next. Pirates 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 6th. Reds are running the 4th. Big blows by Pittsburgh. 2-run single with the bases loaded by Marlon Byrd. 2-run homer by Pedro Alvarez. All that against the Red starter Homer Bailey. Reds lone tally, the home run off the screening of the left field foul pole by Todd Frazier. Trying to match last year's win total here at Great American Ballpark with one more win. They won 50 a year ago. New GABP record, sitting on 49 wins here at home this year. Toward left center, McCutchen gets to the spot. Two pretty good hit balls here in this inning, but both are outs. So it's Bruce. A.J. Burnett in that game last Saturday, 2 runs, 4 hits in 7 with a dozen strikeouts, picking up the victory, and he's pitched even a little bit better tonight. He's at 5 2/3, 1 run, 5 hits.
You know, Burnett still throws hard enough to keep you honest. I mean, he has dialed it up to as fast as 94 miles an hour tonight. There was a time in 2005 when he threw the fastest fastball of any starter in Major League Baseball. And that was clocked at 95.6 miles an hour. Now that would be an average fastball of a guy who is in the top 5. That goes to show you how much quicker overall velocity has gotten over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. But it's that control of the curveball that has made him such a good pitcher over the long run. Had Tommy John surgery in 2003, so he's 10 years removed from that, and he still feels fine. His arm does. He's been a workhorse. The only time he was on the disabled list this year was due to a leg injury.
Into the shift. Bruce hit it hard. He will be thrown out there by Neil Walker.
They love the shift in Pittsburgh.
Of authentic postseason caps, t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and much, much more. Get your gear straight from the source. Reds.com/shop. Boy, they had some very good-looking postseason hats. We've seen them up here. The MLB postseason hat, the t-shirt. There's a good look at it right there. Get a good look at that. That's the postseason hat we're talking about. Guess we can't get a good look at it. Well, anyway, it's a very good looking black hat.
I'll take your word for it.
Maybe we'll show it in the we'll show it later on, or maybe in the post game. Get a look at that hat. Hard into right center. Bruce tracking. Bruce on the track. Bruce gets there. Long run for the Reds right fielder. But he gets to that one, hit hard by Neil Walker.
Boy, he is. If he's not the best right fielder in the league, he's got to be one of the top 3. Got a great jump on that ball, went to the wall really without fear, knew where he was, and didn't panic. I think the fact that he was a left-handed thrower helps him on that one with his glove hand closest to the wall. But that's just, he makes a very tough play there look very easy.
Big part of what you just said is didn't panic. Gets back there, makes the play. Nice job, Jay Bruce. One out for McCutcheon. So after the walk to Martin, his first batter faced, Alfredo Simon has come on and retired 3 in a row. Trying to keep it a 4-1 game Pittsburgh. So we enter the 7th. McCutcheon has walked twice, scored once. Simon trying to finish off 2 innings of work here tonight. This spot due a 4th in the bottom of the 7th inning. Second deck foul ball and a line drive right there by McCutcheon.
Yeah, he was ready for a fastball there and maybe a little bit too ready. It was interesting. The Pirates did not come out tonight of their clubhouse until really just before they were ready to take batting practice. It was well after 5 o'clock by the time they showed up. And they were in the clubhouse having a meeting, as do the Pirates every time they start a new series.
Too late break, but he'll get there.
And what Clint Hurdle has instituted this year with the Pirates is that every time they have a new series against a new ball club, they have a meeting, a whole team meeting. Not just pitchers going into one room and hitters going into another room, but everybody together. And then each one of the coaches and the coaching staff has one coaching point to bring up. A coaching point of some kind, and they just call it coaching up, and it's got to be quick, and they get to the point, and they review something that happened in the last series that was good. They review something that happened in the last series that was bad, and they make the point and they move on. There's Jeff Branson, former Cincinnati Red player, now among the coaches with the Pirates, and Clint Hurdle. And I asked Clint, I said, he was telling me about this tonight, and I said, well, where did you get this idea? He said, I just made it up. He goes, well, we've been losing here so long, I've got to continue to keep these guys ready to go. And at the end of the meetings, we find ourselves ready to go. We keep it quick. The guys just don't roll their eyes because they were long and boring. And he really feels that it's helped his clubhouse come together and get ready without panicking, but kind of stay focused. And that's the whole idea is to stay focused, especially after you've already played, close to 160 games. If you include spring training, and for some of these guys, the World Baseball Classic, I mean, you've been playing this game. It really is since January. And now, after you've played so many games, almost 200 games, including spring training, now they really count. And you want to make sure you're not mentally beat.
Ludwig tracking here. 3 fly balls, 1 to each outfielder. And again, a very nice job turned in by Alfredo Simon.
With a hint of Old Spice. A.J. Burnett, we told you about the curveball. Well, he's had it going, and he's used it to get some strikeouts tonight. 4 of them in all. He gets Bruce, he gets Cozart, he gets Ryan Ludwig. And Homer Bailey also went down via the strikeout, and he right now holds a 3-run lead. Our whiff brought to you by Head & Shoulders with a hint of Old Spice.
It's been a very nice night for A.J. Burnett. Really a second consecutive very nice start against the Cincinnati Reds. 30th and final start of this regular season, 2013. Look at Frazier, Cozart, and Hannigan enjoying a little bit of a cushion now. A 3-run, 4-1 lead here in the home 7th inning. Frazier the only blemish on his mark, that home run ball in the 4th.
I wonder if they'll change the strategy now against Frazier after he unloaded that home run on an inside fastball. They've been trying to crowd him all night. Here, go back in there again.
Cobb's been on twice tonight. He walked his first time. Reds still out hit Pittsburgh 5-4, but trail by 3. Logan Ondrusek now up and throwing in the Reds bullpen. He had a couple of very good innings in the game Tuesday here against the Mets. 3-1. Burnett trying to match what he did. There's Ondrusek. Burnett trying to match what he did in terms of innings tonight. He turned in last Saturday over in Pittsburgh when he went 7. Full count.
I don't think Todd Frazier has seen a curveball yet tonight. He might be the only batter in this Reds lineup that has not had to look at a Burnett curveball.
He usually sees a boatload of curveballs.
He does, and that's what the odd thing is. They're going to see one right here. Nope. Coming with the heat.
Barmes throws him out. The Reds continue in this game. They've not had a leadoff man on in 7 innings. Well, Burnett will work now on Zach Cozart. Cozart tonight, a strikeout and a base hit to center. I mentioned earlier, a big crowd here at Great American Ballpark on this Friday night. In fact, a sellout. 40,107. 4107, the 14th sellout of the year. And the Reds, who set a new Great American Ballpark attendance record in the game on Wednesday, surpassing the 2,371,000 mark, a new Great American Ballpark attendance record that had been set its first year in 2003. Add to that by 40,000 tonight. Tomorrow expected to be a sellout, and Sunday very close. And 40,000 plus here tonight puts them over 2.4 million. And many of them trying to get behind Zach Cozart here as he awaits a 2-2 from Burnett. Nicely to his left. Well, the guy can play some shortstop now, and he makes the play there, and he has 2 assists in this inning. 2 men out. That is 11 11 ground ball outs by A.J. Burnett tonight. We mentioned earlier 72% outs on ground balls this year. Leader in the National League. He's getting them tonight. Now retired 7 in a row. 9 of the last 11 Reds that have come up there. Hannigan now. Jack Hanahan waiting on deck. Reds scored 5 runs in the Mets series in 3 games. They've gotten 1 here tonight. So 5 in 28 innings in the Mets series. Only 6 in the last 34 innings. 6 runs in the last 34 innings for the Reds. A.J. Burnett still under 90 pitches thrown at 88. And a strikeout. He chased that one. Burnett gets strikeout number 5. The second straight 1-2-3 inning. He's retired 7 in a row. American Ballpark. Arrive early, be one of the first 20,000 fans to receive a 2013 team photo presented by First Student. For tickets to this final matchup of the 2013 season, call 513-381-REDS. You can also visit select Kroger locations, or you can log on to reds.com/tickets. Again, second game of this series is tomorrow. It's at 1:05. It'll be on the Fox network. And then back here at Fox Sports Ohio Sunday at 1:10 with game 3. Reds trailing this one 4-1 with a new pitcher on to work the 8th, Logan Ondrusek.
Logan Ondrusek usually pitches about 60 to 63 games a year. He won't get there this year with his time spent down in the minor leagues, but he's having another very solid season out of the Reds bullpen. 51 appearances now, covering 53 innings. He gets usually somewhere around a strikeout an inning or close to it. Big fella uses a fastball about 94 to 95 miles an hour, and that splitter, you see him push that baseball between his middle finger and his index finger, and he kind of gets that thing set just in case it's called on.
I mentioned he had 2 innings worth of work on Tuesday against the Mets. Those were 2 perfect innings. 6 faced, 6 retired. He gets Marlon Byrd, who's done half the offensive damage for the Pirates in this game. 2-run single in the 3rd. A double preceding the home run by Alvarez in the 6th. 2 of their 4 hits. Alfredo Simon, 2 innings, no runs, 2 hits. Very nice job again done by the veteran. Now on Drusick. And to keep it a 3-run game. Reds have the pitcher spot due up first in the bottom of the 8th, hoping they are trailing no more than 4-1. Tomorrow in the afternoon game, the second game of the series, Bronson Arroyo at 14-11, 2-0 in 2 starts this year against the Pirates, will go against Charlie Morton. Votto can't quite get to that ball, moving to his right. Bird has his 3rd hit of the game. Take a look at our Miller Time moment of the night, brought to you by Miller Lite. Pedro Alvarez, 6th inning, crushed this ball. Homer knew it as soon as he hit it. Straight away center. Chu runs out of room. Off the hitter's eye. The backdrop in center. 35th for Alvarez, putting him within 1 of 100 RBIs on the year at 99. That made it 4-1 Pittsburgh in the 6th. Bats here in the 8th. The leadoff man aboard. So again, it's Bronson Arroyo tomorrow against Charlie Morton. Morton has not worked against the Reds this year. 5-6 lifetime. He missed the first half of the year, still recuperating from his June 2012 Tommy John surgery. And right now, Garrett Cole, former #1 pick in the nation a couple of years ago out of UCLA, scheduled to pitch here on Sunday. Brent Hurdle did say if the Pirates win the first 2 games of the series, he would more likely than not forego Garrett Cole, meaning the Pirates would have already clinched.
Well, Alvarez, a rare single for Alvarez. I mean, he is essentially the Pirates version of Adam Dunn. Strikes out a ton. Usually it's either everything or nothing. 185 strikeouts on the season, 35 home runs, knocking on the door of 100 runs batted in, and that's a typical Adam Dunn year, even though he's got a .230 batting average. So they don't care about the batting average, they care about the production.
And he is certainly giving it to them this year.
Although he did hit .244 last year.
Pirates knocking on the door again here in the 8th inning. Frazier over. Judges it and makes the play.
My ball was up there.
Oh, it was way up there. Young lady getting out of the way. The big boy, he's trying to grab that ball. Laz Diaz right on top of the play. Travis Snyder now on deck to bat for A.J. Burnett. We're talking about Sunday, and if the Pirates win the first 2 games, that they would possibly elect to skip Garrett Cole. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if they win the first 2 and the Cardinals lose the first 2, they would probably stay with Cole. But as you look out at the scoreboard, the Cardinals trying to clinch tonight. They have a magic number of 1 to win the division. They lead 4-0 in the 4th at home against the Cubs. That would take any suspense out of the National League Central Division race over the course of the last 2 days.
Well, it doesn't mean that they would start Cole during that wild card game. They'll probably still start wherever it is, it's going to be the Pirates and the Reds. They'll still probably start their scheduled guy, which is Francisco Liriano.
And the Reds right now have Matt Latos scheduled.
And if you look at the splits, though, I mean, you may ask yourselves, well, what's the difference between being at home and away? I mean, does it really matter if you're only going to play one game? Well, the splits between these two teams may tell you that it does. The Reds are somewhere around 20 games over 500 at home. They're about even on the road. The Pirates are better at home than on the road, although not by as much. But their scheduled starter, Francisco Liriano, is dramatically better at home and in Pittsburgh than he is when you get him on the road. Here's the breakdown of it right here. These are the probable starters on Tuesday. And Liriano's number, these are the home numbers, and this is why each of these managers want their guy at home. On the road, still not bad, but certainly not dominating like they have been when they get him in their own ballpark.
And really much more of a dramatic difference on Liriano's side than on Latos' side. A.J. Burnett will stay in, bat for himself with 2 on, 2 out. And Travis Snyder on deck to bat. Then Hurdle apparently changes his mind, leaves Burnett in there. Maybe that was all a decoy to begin with. Tony Watson is throwing in the Pirate bullpen. Burnett is only at 89 pitches tonight. Far cry from where he was through 7 innings last Saturday at home when he threw 107.
I think the choice is for Clint Hurdle either to try to play add-on with a pinch hitter, then go to your bullpen, or if you feel pretty comfortable with Burnett out there and he's coming back to face 9, 1, and 2 in the order, then you take the 3-run lead and you run with it, figuring that the chances of Burnett getting a base hit here and driving another run is very going to be slim. Trying to save his bullpen perhaps a little bit, but Burnett's throwing the ball real well. So is Andrewson.
He comes at Burnett and gets him. So after giving up singles to Bird, and Alvarez retires the next 3, and here come the Reds now with the bottom of the 8th, still down by 3. Cincinnati Children's Hospital, now the #1 ranked pediatric cancer center in the country, according to the U.S. News and World Report's best children's hospitals. And by Chevy. Stop into your Tri-State Chevy dealer today. Check out their full line of fuel-efficient vehicles. Well, this game before a sellout crowd at Great American Ballpark has not gone according to plan as of yet, but still time to go. The Reds come up in the bottom of the 8th. Still facing A.J. Burnett, who has given them in this game just 5 hits. He walked 1. That was back in the 2nd inning. He has fanned 5, and he's been pitch efficient, as Chris has talked about. He works to a pinch hitter, Derek Robinson, to lead off the bottom of the 8th. And the scoreboard asks this crowd to get on its feet, get into this thing.
Well, they've asked them to make noise, and the problem with it is that by retiring every batter who leads the inning off by A.J. Burnett, he's kind of taken the wind and the electricity out of this crowd that was building as they were filing into the ballpark. I mean, there's nothing that puts you back in your seat quicker than a first batter out.
Derek Robinson will pinch hit. Pinch hitting numbers pretty good this year, 276 on the year overall at 253. He bats for Andrusic to lead off the bottom of the 8th. And he will fly out to Marte to start the inning. 8 times, 8 retired. First batter of the inning tonight. Back to the top of the order and Chu. Burnett has gone more than 7 innings in a game only twice since the All-Star break. The complete game victory he had at home against the Rockies on the 4th of August, and 7 1/3 at San Francisco on the 25th of August. He's gone 7 1/3 in this game. At 89 pitches through 7 innings. Chu tonight 1 for 3. A.J. Burnett came in through 3 starts this year against the Reds, 1-1. Lifetime 6-6 against Cincinnati. He was able to get the best of them last week over there. So far, he's gotten the best of them here tonight. Chu trying to get it started. Down by 3 at 4-1. Chu hanging in there against A.J. Burnett. His hit came in the 5th inning after a strikeout of Bailey, and was followed by a 6-4-3 double play ball hit into by Ludwig. Home run by Frazier, the lone run of the night by Cincinnati. Now a full count to Chu. Pittsburgh did have the left-hander Tony Watson up and throwing earlier. And he's still down there in the bullpen now, standing on the bullpen mound. Comes after Chu with a breaking ball, and Burnett gets strikeout number 6.
Well, if he wasn't already 36 years old, you'd have to say you throw that many curveballs, you're going to hurt your arm, young man. But he doesn't care tonight. He has had it working, and he's kept it down. I mean, throwing the curveball is one thing, but having command of it the way Burnett has had command of it tonight, That's an awful tough pitch to negotiate there.
2 out for Ludwig. First pitch swinging, hits it way in the air, but playable. Marte makes the play. 10 in a row now set down by A.J. Burnett. 12 of the last 13 Reds that have gone up there.
It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Ninth inning baseball now. Reds down by 3 at 4-1. They'll bring on their third relief pitcher of this game, their fourth pitcher overall, J.J. Hoover, as he tries to keep things a status quo. And then finally, maybe in the bottom of the ninth, give this big crowd of over 40,000 something to cheer about.
I'm sure when J.J. Hoover came to the ballpark tonight, he was probably dreaming inside his head what could be and what might be if he was to be coming into this ball game and pitching with the Reds lead. Remember, J.J. Hoover is from Pittsburgh, and he would love nothing better than to show all the folks that are watching back in the Berg, hometown boy doing well against his hometown team.
He gets the top of the Pirate order here. That means Starling Marte to lead it off. Marte in this game has scored a run. He's 0 for 3. Reached when he was hit by a pitch back in the third. Hoover's done a pretty good job against his hometown Pirates this year. In fact, in 9 games against them, he's allowed but 1 run in 9 2/3 innings and a 0.93 ERA. More impressive than that, 1 walk and 14 strikeouts in those 9 2/3 against Pittsburgh. Now the question becomes, as Jason Grilli is in the bullpen, maybe answers that question, will Burnett get the chance to go back out, or will they turn it over to their closer? Take a look at our John Merrill hot dog play of the game. Marte playing defense, coming in and making the diving grab of that ball hit by Joey Votto. That was back in the 3rd inning. In fact, it ended that frame. Nice athletic play out there and left by Marte. Our John Merrill hot dog play of the game. Pirates will have Votto, Phillips, Bruce in the 9th. More likely than not against that man, Jason Grilli. And he gets Marte on strikes. Bullpen again tonight has done a very good job.
You know, you almost have gotten to the point with this bullpen that you expect them to put zeros on the board, and if they do anything else but, you think it's a major failure. But I mean, that is a tight part of this ball club, is the Reds bullpen. Despite the fact that they have their main setup guy, Jonathan Broxton, of course, on the disabled list, done for the year.
Phillips will handle Neil Walker's ground ball. So Hoover an out away, keeping it a 4-1 game into the bottom of the ninth. Phillips will be due up second in the bottom of the inning. So it's McCutchen with 2 men out. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of walks. Burnett getting hugs from his teammates, so he is finished for the night. 8 solid innings of 1-run 5-hit baseball. He stepped up big time tonight for Clint Hurdle's club. Looking back, Reds bullpen has not allowed a run since Andrusik gave up 1 last Friday at Pittsburgh. Covering 24 2/3 straight scoreless. Bottom of the ninth upcoming. Votto, Phillips, Bruce down 4-1. Tom Frazier's bat back in the 4th inning. Watch this thing hit the fencing of the foul pole down the left field line. Bounces back onto the field. His 19th home run of the year, equals a career best for him. Our Nissan drive of the game. Yes, indeed, back in the ballpark. Chuck D looking for action tonight. Reds down 4-1. Big crowd of 40,000 plus on its feet. Looking for a 9th inning rally here against Jason Grilli.
Well, he's back in as the closer after missing some time on the disabled list with an arm injury. But he is having one tremendous year. Yeah, he's just another example of how the Pittsburgh Pirates have rebuilt this franchise with guys other teams really didn't want, and Grilly was one of them. In the minor leagues with the Philadelphia Phillies in 2011, when Neil Huntington, the general manager of the Pirates, found him, sought him out, really tightened up his slider. Next thing you know, he's saving games at a remarkable rate.
What's amazing is that 36, he is finally given a shot to close out games. And the Reds trying to get it done in the 9th inning on a Friday night against Pittsburgh for the second week in a row. Remember, last Friday they trailed 5-2 going into the 9th and scored 3 times. Eventually won it on Votto's home run in the 10th. Let's see if they have some late inning Friday night magic in them here at home. Really looking for his 33rd save of the year.
That's just the fastball that he challenges Joey Votto with, and blows it right by him.
2 blown saves on the year for Burnett. One of those against the Reds. Did he go? Did not. Blown save against the Reds came back on June the 19th here. And a 2-1 Reds win.
I'll tell you what, Laz Diaz is hearing it from that Pirate dugout. Joey Votto didn't do much of an acting job right here. He was on the way back to the dugout. When he looked down there, Laz Diaz said, "No, you didn't go." So he's going to get another break, and maybe the Reds can take advantage of it.
Cardinals now leading 6-0 in the 6th inning. So barring a big comeback by the Cubs, the Cardinals will win the National League Central, meaning then that tomorrow these final 2 games will truly be for home field in the National League wild card. Atlanta has won. They're a winner at home tonight over Philadelphia, so the Cardinals need a win to stay on track with them for the best record in the National League. Important because they will take on the wild card winner, whether it be these Reds or the Pirates. And a break for the Reds. Votto gets the base hit. And that Pirate dugout now steaming even more. Votto takes advantage of the break, and he's on to get the inning started.
Well, you figured he was going to get a strike. Jason Grilly doesn't walk very many, and he can throw strikes when he wants to, gets the ball up, and Joey Votto rips it in the hole between first and second. He has hit the ball very well tonight, Votto has.
New team record of reaching base 312 times in a season for Joey Votto, surpassing Pete Rose, who reached 311 times back in 1969. Here's Phillips. They'll get one at second. They get another at first. Brandon Phillips hits into the double play. He is tops on this team in double play balls. He's hit into 19 of them this year. That takes the air right out of this 9th inning.
Well, you talked about the turn earlier in the ball game on another double play that Neil Walker turned back in the 5th inning. And for a converted catcher, this guy has shown some quick hands and a very strong arm. They thought for a while his arm would be wasted at second base, but you can see you have the need for it. Pretty good defense right there.
Bruce rolls to first. Morneau, Grilly. Pirates win game 1 of this 3-game series by the final score of 4-1. And unfortunately, Chris, for the Reds, their offense continues to struggle.
Well, they are struggling a little bit right now. Obviously, in some ways, you have to give the tip of the hat to A.J. Burnett. He pitched a marvelous ball game tonight, was able to spot his curveball, and he kept the Reds off balance. But you know, if you're not going to score very many runs, you've got to fill more zeros on the board. Unfortunately, 4-1 the loss tonight. Reds can come back and win 2 in a row, and they'll have that home advantage of that wild card game here on Tuesday. So we'll come back and play them tomorrow and play them again on Sunday.
Now Burnett the winner. He's 10-11. Grilli his 33rd save. Bailey ends the regular season 11-12. 4-1 Pirates a winner. Coming up next, Reds Live postgame presented by King's Honda with Jim Day and Jeff Pecoro.